Hello, my name is Aurangzeb Murtaza, and I will be explaining in terms of my literature review, which I undertook for the module IoT foundations. Um, Basically, my review was to do with IoT, in particular, to do with home automation. In order to carry out this, I did first of all a draft of what I wanted to review in terms of the keywords such as the protocols like Zigbee, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, etc. Whereas there were other things like how to set up, for example, what type of equipment one would require in terms of hardware, for example, Raspberry Pi, software provided by certain manufacturers for usage of their through their applications in terms of their hardware. For example, I've already got one at my home, which is basically a smart TV app, which through they provide their means of actually using the app for smart connection. And basically, that was the essence of it. In order to do the actual review and to find out how others were doing in terms of the research on this particular part, I did various research, for example, in Google Scholar and also various other Google searches to find out what other people, authors were thinking of the IoT in general, as well as home automation in terms of what it was, why, how, when, and the need basically, and in terms of its future trends as well. What I found overall factor in terms of why and what is just basically to do with IT itself in general and development of us as humans and evolution of computing itself. Taking back, for example, in the 80s, that was the early stages of computing and in particular general computing, and also we saw the first usage of a brick, a sort of mobile in them years. But even nobody thought that today of 2022 that we would get this far in advancement. However, we've done good. We have done a good progress in that sense. And like I said, my scholarly review was based on the what, who, why, and when, and etc. So in that regard, I made sure my focal point was, what it was, the IoT, why it was, and when was it that the special things in terms of special events took place. For example, the current trend in terms of being cloud computing is the major one, and especially the Amazon AWS providers of cloud, as well as Google, Alibaba, IBM. These are the main players in this aspect of IoT things. And the other factor was that in terms of cost, reliability, security, that was also looked into by myself in terms of to see what was available in terms of security and what could be done in order to enhance further security. So in that sense, there's various elements in terms of hardware, software, for example, firewalls, segmenting the network, in terms of network analysis, monitoring networks. There's a lot of things written on that as well. So every point in terms of IoT and general home automation was that everybody has a subjective viewpoint. Overall, it is an objective exercise, but somehow, somewhere, it's unavoidable for anybody, even like this current IoT study we're doing now, not to have a subjective viewpoint. So, in that sense, to analyze overall from different scholars and the review that I undertook, the one outstanding, or I would say one main feature is that from all of them is that you got to, irrespective of who, why, and when, in terms of architecture, product quality, etc. Above all, I think you've got to have the feature of number one priority has got to be security. Without the security, what's the point of having a device or devices that, for example, controls all of your home appliances from fridge, bathroom, shower, etc., to your home security in terms of your locks, your air conditioning, heating, etc. If it can be hacked and be taken over by anybody, that's generally the case in computing anyway. But when it comes to home security, that's in particular, it's got to be number one. And like I said, generally IoT and computing, IoT, like I said, is the bedrock from which the essence of cloud computing is based. And cloud computing, the security is there, but again, one has to be realistic rather than optimistic, I would say, in this viewpoint. The security is there, but it's not fallible. So it is something that's not 100% basically. So we got to make sure that we got to keep on our endeavor and make sure that security, although the lapses will occur, but that the more important thing is how we combat these things. The sooner, the better, the quicker, the better, and obviously the other factor is the money element in terms of cost and how consumers can access, and that's getting better and better as we progress further. I mean, like for example, even the smartphone I'm using right now to record this. I mean, at one stage we couldn't even afford this. So with time, I'm hopeful that everything will get better, and that's the overall situation in terms of IoT. Basically, it's a very good step. That's where everything's heading. I mean, at the moment, as everybody knows, besides the IoT smart home, we have driverless cars or companies like Tesla, Google, and they're the forerunners in this case. So, in who knows in 22? I mean, today it's 2022, but in 2, 3, 4 years time, how far we're advanced. But all in all, I would say it's a good improvement. Good research of scholars are available, but one has to have their own analysis at the end of the day. And like I said, the overriding factor for everybody is security, and security has to be the element of the future innovations, irrespective of who, why, and when they do it. I hope that by doing this research, undertaking this project, through myself, I'm able to get more knowledge. I have gained more knowledge in terms of what's available, what's not available, what's best, and what is not best. And I think that's the overall situation one can attribute towards accomplishment. And I have done my level best in that sense, and hope that if any future endeavor is similar to this, I'm able to contribute towards that as well, just as well. Thank you. Bye bye.